All right, we are very much now in the home stretch. We are on the last step, step number 5 of 5, and we're going to complete this game in this lesson. So when you open up the starting file in the main.py, you will notice that there are a bunch of errors, and this is intentional. Now, what's happened is I have deleted the list called stages. I have deleted the list called word list, and instead I want you to get them from these files, Hangman Art and Hangman Words, just so that we can practice using other modules. And this is something we learned in previous lessons as well. So if you forgot, then take a look at Python modules when we introduced the random module. So that tackles to do number 1, to do number 2, and to do number 3, which is to basically use what you've learned about import and modules in order to bring in those things that we need for our code to function correctly. Now, the next few to-dos are mostly to do with tidying up the logic and also just making our app a little bit easier to use. You'll notice I've added some extra bits in here, like some asterisks, just to make each section when they lose or when they win a little bit more obvious. And in step 4, I want you to give the user some feedback to improve our user experience. So if the user has entered a letter that they've already guessed, we need to tell them you already guessed this, and we'll print that letter and let them know. But we're not going to deduct any lives because I think that's maybe a little bit unfair. So an example is you've already guessed letter A, something like this. Now to do number 5 is on a similar vein. If the letter they guessed is not in the chosen word, we're going to print it out and let them know, so give them some feedback. For example, you guessed D, that's not in the word, you lose a life, just so they know exactly what's going on in the game. And the final to do number 6, is to update this print statement so that we give the user an indication of how many lives they have left. So it'll be 4 out of 6 lives left, then 3 out of 6 lives left, so that each time we rerun our while loop, they know how close they are to the end and give them a little bit more danger and anticipation. So these to-dos are a lot easier than previous ones, and I think you'll be able to tackle them just fine. So pause the video and complete your project. Okay, let's start with to-do number 1. So you might remember that we can simply import any module, and this module is called Hangman Words, and it looks like this. It contains just a single list called word list. So we can do it in 2 ways. We can do it the usual way, which is how we imported random. So we import the module, which is Hangman Words, and then we can use it inside our file. So here, when we're using word list, to get rid of this red underline, we can say Hangman Words dot word list, and then Python will be able to find this file because it's imported and then find this word list that we need. Another way of doing imports is a way where you can avoid using these dots and makes the code just a little bit tighter. So instead of just writing import Hangman Words, you can say from this module called Hangman Words, import this one thing, which is the words list. Now, of course, if you have lots of things to import from a particular file or module, then this is going to be a little bit painful. But in our case, when there's only very few and we only want to import 1 or 2 things, then this syntax can make it a lot lighter. And it means we don't have to write Hangman Words dot word list every time we want to use it, which can be a bonus. Now, of course, you might not have seen it this way, so if you complete it the other way, it's also perfectly valid, and in most situations, that's exactly how you want to do it. All right, let's go ahead and knock off to-do number 2 and to-do number 3. So to-do number 2, we just need to do the same thing and import. So from Hangman Art, we're going to import the list called stages, and then that gets rid of that error right there. And then to do number 3, we need to import the logo, which we've got right here called logo. And this just means that when we start up our game, it will display a nice little logo. So we'll just print, and we're going to print the logo, and then we're going to import the logo. So we can also add a new from whatever, but it's actually much easier to add a comma and just add logo afterwards. So this way you save yourself a little bit of code. But if you wrote it like this, hangman_art.logo, that is also perfectly valid. Now, step number 4 is when the user has entered a letter they've already guessed, we're going to print the letter and let them know. So this is the example, and I'm going to use it. So if the guess, so the letter that we're guessing right now, is in, so the in keyword, to check if it exists inside the set of correct letters, well, then that means that they previously already guessed that letter. So we need to let them know, print, that they've already guessed that letter. So we can copy this line and paste it in here and use a F string to insert the guess right there. So now if we go ahead and run our file as it is, you'll see firstly we get our nice little hangman logo printing. And I've got the chosen word still printing right now because otherwise it's impossible to test this. I'm not good enough at hangman to be able to do this. So we've got our word to guess, and then we have to guess a letter. So I'm going to guess R, and you can see if I guess R again, I don't lose a life, and it just tells me that I've already guessed R. So that works as expected. Moving on to the next to do, if the letter is not in the chosen word, then we're going to print it out and let them know. So it's important to give user feedback because that improves the user experience. Now, there's a lot of science and art to user experience, but it's good to start thinking about this even as we're learning the basics of Python. So if the letter is not in the chosen word, so that is under this if statement, then we're going to reduce their lives by 1, but we're also going to add this print statement. So I'm going to copy the example as it is, and then I'm going to paste it into this if statement and replace this with an F string, which is the guess. And very thankfully, Python automatically adds this F in here because I'm using PyCharm and it's a really, really helpful code editor. But just be aware that that's what's happening just now. Moving on to do number 6, we're going to update this part, this print statement, to tell the user how many lives they have left so that each time the while loop runs, they can see how many lives they have left, 4 out of 6, 3 out of 6, 2 out of 6, give them a little bit of feeling of impending doom, as any good game should do. If you play Elden Ring, you'll know what I mean. And inside here, we're going to insert the variable called lives. And again, this should be an F string. And we only have one more to do left before we finish this game. So update this last print statement to give them the correct word that they're trying to guess. It's never good to frustrate your users too much. I'm looking at you from software, the people who make Elden Ring, and making it really difficult to pass all the levels. But here we want to be able to give the user the word that they've been trying to guess all along. So even if they don't get it and they lose, they at least know what it was. So we're going to again insert this as an F string, and I'm just going to copy the format here in the to do, telling them that it was this particular word, replacing this with the F string, and my variable is called chosen word. And now I have completed the entire project of Hangman. Now, I'm not saying that there's no more improvement. There's a lot of things that you could do to improve Hangman, and this is by no means a fully fledged game. It is just a exercise to be able to test and revise some of the concepts you've learned about Python up to this point. And hopefully it was fun building it, and hopefully you're going to have some fun playing it and showing it to friends. Now, there are a ton of more improvements that you can make to this game. And if you're up for it, then you can, of course, go ahead and make it to your heart's desire, change it or update the user experience, change the wording, give it more functionality, different functionality, whatever it is you want to do. The world is your oyster. But hopefully you've managed to understand all of the code up to now. And if you don't, just try deleting everything and starting from the beginning until you make sure that every single concept in here that you've reviewed, either you've gone back to previous videos or you've looked up documentation, as long as everything makes sense before you proceed. I know it's really tempting to keep to the one day a day kind of format, but the more important thing is that you're actually learning valuable skills and you're not just skipping ahead. So I hope this was fun, and I hope you'll look forward to building more stuff with me in future lessons. But right now, take a rest, and well done.
Thanks for watching the video till the end. Please leave your thoughts below so we can discuss more about the topic. If you'd like to suggest a video that could help the community, feel free to message me on X or Instagram. We also share short videos on Instagram, so make sure to follow us there. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and might even create a video based on your suggestion. Thanks again for being part of our community. See you in the next video.